Hello, and welcome to the Facilities and Apartment Manager Info Session for the 2022-2023 academic year. Thank you for your time and consideration in the Marquette University Office of Residence Life Manager position. I'm Jenny Edwards, Residence Hall Director for Wells Street Hall. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm excited to help you as you navigate this application and interview process. During the presentation, we will be reviewing the position expectations for the manager position, the application and submission process via handshake, the interview, what we are looking for in an ideal candidate, and unfortunately, due to the nature of this online presentation, I'm unable to take any questions from you, but I do want to hear from you if you have any questions. I will explain at the end of this presentation where you can direct your unanswered questions, and also will share information about a manager panel that you are able to view to get some frequently asked questions answered. The manager position is a comprehensive title that encompasses the two different positions of apartment manager and facilities manager. Apartment managers are Marquette University students hired specifically for the Office of Residence Life apartment complexes. This includes the MARC, Campustown East, Campustown West, McCabe, Gilman, Friend, while facilities managers are hired specifically for residence halls on campus. Straz, Carpenter, Cobean, Abbotsford, Schrader, Eckstein, Wells, Humphrey, and Mashuda. That is something to consider as you are considering your application. The two positions of apartment manager and facilities manager have different job expectations and requirements that will be outlined in the following slides. It is important to know these expectations and requirements when discerning the position you would like to apply for. Both position descriptions are available on the Office of Residence Life website as well, in case you'd like to dive deeper and know a little bit more about each. The first difference in expectations between the apartment and facility manager positions are the start dates. It is important to note that apartment managers are expected to begin their position in May 2022. This early start is due to the influx of students transitioning in and out of the on-campus apartments over the summer months due to their leases beginning and ending. Facilities managers are expected to begin their position in August 2022 in preparation for opening of the residence halls for the academic year. Less of an expectation of the manager position and more of a recommendation is the involvement with summer crew. Summer crew responsibilities are as follows. Summer crew student workers provide support to the Auxiliary Services, Business Operations and Conference Services Department within the Division of Student Affairs, and also Facilities Planning and Management. This includes, but is not limited to, completing and assisting with the tasks such as residential building turnover, inventory, and setup of furniture in residential spaces, collaborating with several other departments including Facilities Planning and Management, orientation staff, and residence life. Summer crew also supports customer service success by ensuring that university guests have comfortable, positive, and safe experiences on campus. Preparation of guest materials and facilities is an essential function of the position. Summer crew student workers will also collaborate on the summer-long process to prepare student living spaces for fall move-in. Again, it is important to note that involvement in summer crew by managers is not required, but highly recommended. Wondering about how you will balance summer crew involvement and other summer responsibilities? Summer crew has both part-time and full-time availability options to fit each manager's individual needs. Training for the manager position occurs both during the spring 2022 semester and over the summer. All managers, both apartment and facility managers, will be required to attend their first training in April with the location to be determined. Additionally, all managers are required to attend summer training starting in August of 2022. Lastly, apartment managers and facility managers that opt into summer crew or summer duty are required to attend training in May 2022. Due to the training requirements during the summer, candidates hired as managers are not permitted to take summer session 2 classes. No exceptions can be made for this expectation. With managers serving as the direct supervisors to their building's desk receptionist staff, also referred to as DRs, managers are required to attend and oftentimes lead DR training sessions. DR summer training is currently scheduled for late April with a specific date, time, and location to be determined. DR training for the 2022-2023 academic year is scheduled for August 2022. Last year, this was a hybrid model with some pieces of training being online while others were in person. We're unsure of what that will look like for this coming August, but hopefully we will have more information by the time you are hired for this position, or we will have it before training begins in August. All managers will hold ongoing meetings throughout the 2022-2023 academic year. These meetings include manager meetings held on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. noon or at a mutually agreed upon time, held by members of the Office of Residence Life staff and business operations or facilities planning and management. Building staff meetings are held on Wednesday nights with the time determined by your building staff, including the resident assistants, manager, hall minister, and residence hall director. Scheduling meetings are determined by managers during the year, in which managers will meet with their DR staffs to create the desk and mailroom coverage schedule for the fall and spring semesters. Lastly, each manager will be directly supervised by the residence hall director overseeing the managers' building. Managers will schedule and meet with their residence hall director each week at a time and day determined by both individuals. It is important to note that having availability during the business day is essential in order to work with other offices and departments on campus. Managers are responsible for forming a number of professional connections across campus. Some of these campus partnerships include connections with the manager's individual building. These connections include with residents, resident assistants, the residence hall director, the building custodial and maintenance crews, the dining hall crew for buildings with designated dining hall areas, including the Commons, Schrader, Cobine, and Straz. Other relationships include partnerships with shops, including but not limited to the lock shop, paint shop, and mechanics. The Office of Residence Life, including all residence halls, on-campus apartments, and central staff members located in Carpenter Tower on the second floor office suite. And lastly, the Division of Student Affairs at Marquette University and Facilities Planning and Management. Now that you know all the expectations of the manager position, let's talk about the application process. All applicants are required to submit a letter of recommendation to be considered for the position. They are required to complete an asynchronous interview via the My Interview platform, and they will complete a handshake application, which will include their resume and essay questions and answers. So to begin, all manager applicants are required to submit a current resume with their application. We highly recommend that candidates visit the Career Services Center at Marquette University to update and/or refine their resumes to ensure that they're including transferable skills applicable to the manager position and that these are highlighted in a way that is easy to read and shows the skills that can be brought into the role. For instance, we think about kind of those roles that you maybe had that would fulfill some of the things that we're looking for in a manager candidate. For instance, if you've served as a desk receptionist or a DR in the past, this would definitely be an applicable experience. If you've served as maybe a lifeguard supervisor over the summer or working in customer service, those are also things that are very transferable to the job when you're working with the supervision of your desk receptionist staff and also serving in customer service to the residents within the building and the other folks that you have partnerships with. Applicants for the manager position are also required to submit a writing sample with their application. In this writing sample, candidates are asked to discuss their interest in the manager role, draft an email to their desk receptionist DRs, and discuss inclusion at the desk. Essay number 1 is the interest in the AM and FM role. Highlight interest in both or one position, describe what it is that interests you in each role, and if you're unable to meet any of the requirements when it comes to start dates or training dates, you would want to highlight those in that essay. Essay number 2 is to write an email to your staff. Write an email message that you would send to the desk receptionist staff in early August if hired to the manager position. The memo should cover a welcome to the staff, training expectations, and your vision for the year. You are welcome to assume details on dates, deadlines, and building information. Essay number 3 is inclusion at the desk. Based on the campus climate study and Office of Residence Life assessments, we know that interactions with the front desk can impact students' perceptions and experiences of feeling included and welcomed in their residence hall or apartment. When students do not feel welcomed or included, we often look to the potential influence of bias. For example, students of color have experienced inconsistent policy enforcement from DRs across campus. What role can an apartment or facilities manager take in creating an inclusive environment for students through the front desks? Describe what steps you would like to take if hired as a manager. These essay questions will be submitted via your Handshake application. The next piece that you will submit is your letter of recommendation. We ask that you only submit one form of recommendation. So this is one person that is going to submit this for you. This is via a form that is found on our website, and you can just send a link to your recommender, and they can submit it that way. They will receive confirmation when they have submitted it. As a note, we will only be taking the first recommendation that we received, so there is no benefit to providing more than one recommendation. In fact, it actually would be more challenging for us if we have more than one, as we will only look at the first one that is submitted. Lastly is the asynchronous interview. For this, we utilize the My Interview platform with the link available on both the Office of Residence Life website as well as within the Handshake application. This asynchronous interview allows you the opportunity to see the question prior to answering, the opportunity to re-record your answer up to 3 times, and a time limit of 2 minutes per question. The time limit is set so that you have plenty of time to answer the question. If you are having issues with the technology, please contact me and I will work with you to find another option. So you know the requirements of the manager position and what the application process entails. Now, how do you submit all of your application materials? The Office of Residence Life utilizes Handshake for all application processes. All applications for the 2022-2023 manager position are due via Handshake on Friday, December 10th, 2021. Following the application submission process, applications will be reviewed and applicants will receive a time for manager presentation scheduled for January 21st, 2022. So what that means is that all of your application materials, including your Handshake application, including your resume and essays, the asynchronous interview, and your recommendation are all due by December 10th, 2021 at noon or 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Presentations will take place in person on January 21st, 2022. So let's talk a little bit about the presentation. This will be an in-person interview process. Candidate presentations should not be less than 5 minutes long, nor exceed 7 minutes. Candidates are allowed and are encouraged to use visual aids for their presentation. Again, the presentations will take place in person on January 21st, 2022, and you will be invited to sign up for a time for these presentations after submitting all of your application materials. So some context for the presentation. A key responsibility of each manager is to supervise the desk receptionists, or DRs, who work at their buildings as front desk. DRs are expected to arrive promptly for their scheduled shift and to swipe in upon arrival and again at the time of their departure. This ensures proper record keeping of how many hours a DR works in a 2-week pay period. Sometimes a DR may forget to swipe in or out or does so incorrectly. This can result in inaccurate timesheets on the online portal that each manager utilizes and must approve by noon on Mondays following each 2-week pay period. Each 2-week pay period ends at midnight every other Saturday night. Managers are therefore expected to approve accurate timesheets every 2 weeks, at which point they are verified by an office associate in the Office of Residence Life and then forwarded along to the Office of Student Employment, who processes payroll for all student employees. With this context in mind, please reflect on the scenario presented. So here's your prompt. You need to submit payroll within an hour where you are correcting issues from staff who have errors on their timesheets. At the same time, you have a DR who's arriving late to their shift and called you to cover until they can arrive. While working the desk, you quickly discover you will be late submitting your timesheets due to how many students are at the front desk and being unable to multitask. What you're going to do is summarize the issues. What is the problem and why would it present issues to the manager and other stakeholders involved? What immediate steps would you take regarding the issues presented? In what ways could you ask for support in this kind of scenario? And what does follow-up look like in this scenario? You will take time to complete this presentation in the manner that you see fit, whether that is using visual aids or another form of presenting. And you will do so in front of current hall directors, graduate assistants, managers, and desk receptionist staff in an in-person process that will take place on January 21st, 2022. A question that we often get is, what is the ideal candidate when it comes to being a manager? There is no cookie cutter manager. We do aim to hire candidates for the manager position that prove to be detail oriented. Being able to have strong administrative skills is essential to this role. We look for people who are self-starters, who are a problem solver, and someone who's willing to take initiative when you see something that could be improved or made to become better. You are a systems thinker. You are able to see the way that different parts interact with one another in a complex organization like a university setting. This is a leadership role, and someone who is able to see themselves and not only their own responsibilities over there, but also where you fit within the bigger scheme of the organization is essential. And then your ability to supervise and advise. There are qualities that we look for in a person's ability to be able to provide constructive feedback to be able to help staff. The expectations to build staff morale and to be able to create an environment where others want to be a part of it and want to be able to come to work each day. So in summary, this is the manager position and what you can expect in terms of what we're looking for, how to apply, and how we can best support you in that process. Thank you for considering the manager role. Please let myself or a current residence hall director know if you have any questions. We will be eager to assist you and can't wait to see your application material soon. If you have questions, you are also welcome to email orljobs@marquette.edu. Thank you for your time and attention, and we hope to see your application soon.